Welcome to a slideshow on the lighthouses of Greece and some other attractions as we travel from one lighthouse to another. This lighthouse trip was put together by the U.S. Lighthouse Society in 2019. This is the Greek flag, and you will see many of these on top of the lighthouses. This is the Olympic Stadium in Athens. It's not very big, and it looks like sitting on stone seats would not be very comfortable. You will see that many of these structures have done better than others. And the other thing you'll notice is we were not the only ones decided to visit these. You can see that there are a great many pieces on the ground, and they're trying to figure out where those belong. You can see where this building has metal supports, light gray, where pieces are missing. This one looks like it's collapsed partially, and some of this damage may have been done during World War II. This temple made out much, much better. This is the Parthenon up on the hill, and you can see there's a great deal of staging all around it. This is the Temple of Poseidon. Now, it does need a roof, but you get a sense of the size of that building, all made out of stone. Now, I need to prepare you for the lighthouses. Before World War II, there were 312. After the war, there were less than 30 still standing. However, the folks in Greece have been going back and getting the original drawings, etc., and rebuilding them. So as you look at some of these, your observation would be, that looks fairly new. And you know what? You're probably right. This map appears on the cover of the booklet we were given for the trip. Now, if you look at the top center, you'll see a capital A in red. That's Athens. That's where it starts. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in a van to the left and look at all those lighthouses around that body of water, and then we're going to return to Athens. This is our first Greek lighthouse. Notice on top the Greek flag flying, and also off to the right you will see a red boat. Chris Brooks, who was in charge of our tour, was able to talk to the Greek Navy, which is in charge of lighthouses, and get several of these opened up. And of course, when they opened them, they also came with a Greek Navy person. we were able to go inside of here. Now this, of course, is the restroom inside the building. But notice the sign on the shower. Do not fill with water your coffee cup. Suggests they may be collecting rainwater for showers. This was the bedroom, and we were told that the Greek Navy personnel can actually sign out these lighthouses for a period of time for a vacation with their family, which would suggest you would have to bring your own bed linens, etc. This is the Greek Navy gentleman that opened up the lighthouse for us, but you can see this is a very small space up in this lantern room. This is the red boat we saw before, and it literally has dropped anchor, and it's waiting to go through the Corinth Canal. We'll show you that in a minute, but you'll see the significance of this canal. The Corinth Canal is coming right up, but this is why it's important. If you look at the A in Athens and you want to go to the left, that big C is the Corinth Canal, which is hard to see because it's very small on the map. If you didn't go through the canal to get to the water on the left, you would have to follow those green circles all the way around the peninsula. Now we're talking a few hours wait or days and days on the water. It's a significant saving. This is the Corinth Canal. It doesn't look like much, and it's one-way traffic at a time. It's about 4 miles long, but it cuts off all kinds of trips around to get from where you are, Athens, over to the left. Think of the Cape Cod Canal or the canal up in Michigan and Holtland there. Just like airports, you need a control tower. So what you're looking at on the right is a control tower that controls the traffic going through the canal. We hop in the bus and drive around, but this is a lighthouse that is at the other end of the Corinth Canal. You'll see in a minute. And of course, we brought our Greek Navy man with us because he has the key to the building. This is after you get through the locked fence. They've got the building further secured. This is the restroom, which is inside of the fenced-in area, but not in the actual lighthouse building. Looks very secure. This is inside the fence, but outside of the building, and we were curious. So we opened the door, and look what we found. Looks like a little pizza oven that you might use coal in. And right up to the lantern room we head. I hadn't seen these before. In our lighthouses, we tend to have round openings that we can rotate to let air in. These are actually long vents underneath the windows in the lantern room. This is at the other end now we're looking at the Corinth Canal. And unfortunately, the lighthouse should have been just a little bit more to the left. We could have looked through it a little bit better. Remember I said after World War II they rebuilt some of these lighthouses. I would guess this is one of them. It was locked, but we were able to walk around it and take photographs. This is our next lighthouse. We get off the bus, we walk down here a short distance, and then to the right, there is our Greek Navy man there waiting for us. And notice the lighthouse up on the top. There is no fence at all on the roof of the first floor. They are proud people. They will always stop and let us photograph them. This is the patch on the uniform designating which part of the Navy these personnel are that are involved with lighthouses. Again, no railing on the roof. And in we go. This is why we only got to look at the first floor. If you were up on the second floor now and they had it open all the way to the top, somebody might accidentally open that door and go walking around on the roof. That would not be a good idea. The lighthouse actually is that building you see on the right, the stone building, and the light would be up there at the top. And then you would come through the opening toward us, and that is the inner harbor. There is the light there up in the very top. And you can see why we didn't get out there to walk around there and go in the opening, the door. This is our next lighthouse, combination castle or fort and the lighthouse. This is how you actually get into the fort, and it's also a good opportunity to get your ticket on the way in. Very nice the way it's all fixed up, but we didn't get in it. This was an adventure. Now, it turns out they had two boats. They had a fast boat they could put the whole bus on, plus our Navy man and their crew, and get us out there in no time. The problem with that was it had a draft that did not permit it to get to the dock. So maybe the last 5 feet you'd have to walk in the water. They had a small boat that only held 2 or 3 at a time, but that one was very shallow draft, so that could go right up to the dock. So the answer was take both boats and send the slow guy over there an hour early. This was the fast boat, and all of us fit on this boat, and it took us right over. This is the slow boat, a couple at a time, but at least we didn't have to row it. Our Navy man with a smile and a key to the building. Then it's just a short walk to the building. The door was opened right up for us to go all the way to the top and look around. Looking at the light and the platform for the light, it looks like at one time it had a rotating Fresnel lens, but what is now is a plastic globe. Chris Brooks was able to give us a private tour of the Greek Aids to Navigation School. And what you're looking at here is just one of the lantern rooms that they had out in the grounds all around the place. They had quite a collection. This was the gentleman that gave us a tour inside, and they have quite a display. And you notice his uniform is white, not blue. These little shrines were all over the place there. Many of them were along the sides of the road. This is a ventilator ball, and you often don't get to see these up close and personal. If they were to just put a chimney above a kerosene lamp, and we had a heavy rainstorm, the rain would come right in and put out the light. However, if you put a ball like this, the rainwater hits the ball, it comes around the side and drops off rather than go in the hole. But on the other hand, the smoke coming from the kerosene lamp comes up through and out the holes in the ventilator ball. Another Fresnel lens in the yard. This is a good look at the chariot wheels that rotates around, and you notice the date on the bottom is 1889. How would you like to have a mailbox like this? It's now time for us to leave the Greek Aids to Navigation display area and head on to the next lighthouse. We're now going to come back to this map and look at it again. Now again, the A for Athens at the top in the center. We did the lighthouses in the Aids to Navigation all on the left-hand side. Now we're going to do the lighthouses on the right-hand side and lower. It looks like they put one lighthouse on every one of these islands. So the question is, how do you get to see them? And evidently what was decided was put us on a boat, one boat, and then take us around to see all the lighthouses. This is our one boat, the motor yacht Elena. It has 7 private rooms, sleeping 2 people each, and a complete bathroom in each room. The boat comes with a captain, cook, waitress, engineer, and 1 deckhand. And we will be eating 3 meals a day on the boat for the week. In the back, there's an eating area where half of the group ate. To the front of that is a living room, and in front of that is a formal dining room where the other half of the group ate. If you were on a cruise ship, this would be called a tender. This, if you will, is our tender. Holds 5 people with a crew of 2. You can see the lighthouse on the top of the hill there. This is what I call a drive-by shooting. There's really no place to dock the boat, and even if they did, you wouldn't want to climb up the mountain. So we'll just take a couple of shots as we sail by. This is a lighthouse we're actually going to see. We have a Greek Navy gentleman with us that will take us up and also open the door. This lighthouse was, again, very nice, very neat, very clean inside, and a great place to visit. Upper Nell lens inside of this one. This was a very interesting light on this stone right in the middle of the harbor. Now, if you look closely on the right-hand side, yes, those are actually steps going all the way around up to the base of the tower. Needless to say, we did not get off the boat at this lighthouse. A closer look at the steps on the right-hand side. No railing. It does not look like there's a Fresnel lens up there either. And the boat goes all the way around the rock. For this lighthouse, 4 people decided to get off the boat on the tender, go over to the beach, and walk up the hill to look at the lighthouse. This is how they went back and forth. Other people chose to swim in the water off the back of the motor yacht Elena, and some like me just decided to sit on the lounge chair and enjoy the view. This is the lighthouse that was up at the top of the hill. It looks like a fixer-upper. This is another one of the Greek islands, and these islands are interesting. Part of the civilization developed along the water's edge, but part of it also developed at the very top. It was much safer from foreign invaders if you were up at the top of the mountain. We're now up at the top of the mountain, and to get there we took a couple of taxis, and it was safer up here until they invented the airplane. There's a whole village up here at the top. Even a Greek church up there. This is another one we take photographs of as we sail by. We now go to the town of Mykonos, which is much larger than the last one. This island also has a lighthouse on it, so we were able to go up and walk around it, but it also needs quite a bit of restoration. This lighthouse you see at the top has been replaced by the new metal tower over on the left-hand side of the photograph. We're next going to take a break from looking at lighthouses, and we're going to look at the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Delos Island. This island goes back some 2,500 years before the Christian era, and is considered to be one of the most important mythological, historical, and archaeological sites in Greece. Even to this day, archaeological digs and reconstructions are going on as we speak. The famous lions are taking a beating out there in the elements, particularly with the rainwater, so some of them have been put inside of a museum. And some pieces have had to be added to the original statues. You can see where they've reconstructed some of the buildings that they believe were there. You can see there's a lot of work still to be done. And it's back on the tender to go back to our boat. After we got off the boat, it was about an hour walk with our Greek Navy escort to get to this lighthouse. We eventually got there. This is our Navy escort man, and his only request was, don't take a picture of me in my shorts, because he's working. He's supposed to be in uniform. So when we got there, he ran in real quick and came right back out with his uniform on and the Greek flag. When you see the pump that would suggest that they have a tank or a cistern below the floor and they're pumping water out of it. And they probably are putting the water in there by collecting rainwater off the roof and then using it for mopping the floors, flowers, etc. And they got a Fresnel lens up there. Santorini is a large island, and it's all developed, but all along the top, not at the water's edge. This is our boat out in the harbor, and we could not get a place to dock it. However, they anchored it here, and we just took the tender back and forth. You'll see we are not the only ones visiting today. You can see the great big cruise ships come here, and you realize that a ship like that could hold 3,000 people. Now, if you get 5 of those there, that'd be 15,000 people you can dump on the town all at once. I mean, this is overwhelming. We were told that starting in 2020, they're going to limit the number of ships to 2 a day. That is almost the entire dock area you're looking at, so you can see why they just have to dock out in the harbor and go back and forth with tenders. Right in front on the bottom there, that is the dock where the tenders will let you get off. You've got to get up to the top, which says here, that's the town. This is where we want to go, and it's also where the lighthouse is. You had 3 options to get up there: walk, donkey ride, or cable car. You thought I was kidding about the donkey ride. The donkeys are looking for some business. Not wanting to upset the animal rights folks, I took the cable car. This is all now up at the top of the mountain. This is probably somebody's brand new house. They did well. I don't know how you're supposed to get your money out of the ATM machine. We took a small van to get out to this lighthouse. However, once we got out here, it's chain link fence all the way around, so all you could do is take a few pictures. It was the cable car back down, and then the tender back out to our boat. This is another lighthouse you can just actually take a photograph of as you go by. Another sail by and photograph. This is another lighthouse we're just going to sail by and photograph. This is the modern and inexpensive way to replace lighthouses. This is another sail by and take photographs. All good things seem to come to an end, and after spending 1 week on the motor yacht Elena, it comes to an end. So what we're going to do is we go back to Athens, we pack up everything in our suitcases, and then we take them off the boat, and we get on a bus, and the bus is going to take us to the airport, and we are going to fly to Herculon, Crete. Now this is just another island that's a part of Greece, except it's a big island. We're back to our map again. Now we started out initially the top, middle, Athens. We did the lighthouses on the left in a van, came back to Athens. Then we got on the motor yacht Elena, and we did all of the lighthouses on the right side about halfway down the page. We ended up back in Athens, got off the boat, and what we do now is from Athens we fly down to Crete, the island at the bottom, and we end up on the right hand side, which is Herculon. It's not surprising that Herculon is a big city. It's got a big airport, and it's got a fort from the old days to protect it, and on the fort is this lighthouse that you see in the middle. doesn't look like they left the door open for us. This is another ancient civilization that we visited. This obviously, what you're looking at, has been reconstructed, but it goes back somewhere around 3000 to 1200 before the Christian era. We were told that this section right here is part of the old Roman road. No wonder my Latin teacher said they used to build good roads over there, those Romans. Of course, they didn't have any frost either. This is another one of our adventures. The first thing, just around the corner and out of sight to the left, we had to unlock the farmer's fence, come through, and then lock it, not knowing what the farmer was keeping inside the fence. And then we have to go up the hill here. The hill looks more like a mountain. Now, we're sure that the lighthouse is just somewhere over the top. The question is whereabouts and how do you get there? In the last picture, some people actually went a little bit closer to the edge than I did. But coming down and looking real close, look what we see. Now we know what the farmer had inside the locked fence. Luckily for us, these critters seem to be pretty friendly, but just look at the horns. Finally, we go back through the fence and secure it so the animals won't get out. And then we basically went looking at this picture straight ahead, and on the left-hand side was the restaurant where we had lunch. And while we're having lunch, I'm looking out the window thinking, my goodness, if we went out on that dock to the very end, could we get a better picture? I ate fast and then went down onto the dock and walked all the way out to the end. And oh my goodness, I not only got the top, the ventilator ball, but I got the windows. But that's the best we're going to do. It appears as though they named the town and the lighthouse the same. So we walked around here, the port, and we found the lighthouse. And you see the X there on the wall, so you can go up the steps and take the high road all the way out, or go along the lower road. I decided the lower road might be better. From a distance, the lighthouse looks really nice until you get a little bit closer. Even if we could get in, I'm not so sure I'd want to go up and walk around the outside of the top there. On this one here, we met a gentleman from the Greek Navy who opened the door and let us in, and very nice. Actually, there's a good set of steps going right around to the front, too. He actually opened the door for us, let us walk all around the first floor, and go right up to the lantern room. You actually get a better picture of the lens from the outside. A Fresnel lens, what do you know? This was our tour guide in uniform. There is our next lighthouse, Chain of Crete. But you don't have to swim across. If you come where the letters are and go right around to the right, you can walk all the way around. And again, it's your choice, either the high road or the low road. And this comes with a gentleman again from the Greek Navy with a key to let us in. That's Tom taking pictures for us on the inside. We got in this top part here and all around this bottom area of the tower, but the poor gentleman from the Navy did not realize he needed a second key to get into the tower. And of course, he didn't bring the second key. This is what you would see if you were able to get up there, but it looks like a Fresnel lens up there, and look at that fancy ventilator ball up at the top. We're now going to look at this map for the last time. If you remember where we are now in Crete, that is the large island to the right on the bottom. And all the lighthouses we've been looking at are on the top side of that island. And we see the asterisk below, and that is a lighthouse that is on its own island. And remember, these islands had big mountains on them, so we're going to have to go over the mountains to the other side of Crete and then get a boat. These maps, by the way, are made by Mary Borkowski, so we get a chance to see what's going on before we go. We get to use them while we're there, and we come back, we have a chance to refresh our memory of where we have been. We've seen the islands before, and we've seen the mountains. Well, this is no exception. Same glacier made all of these. So we're up at the top of the mountain, and we're going back down on the far side. And this is the road we snake around to get down to the water's edge. This is the boat we used to take us from the island of Crete over to the last lighthouse. Now, should we say that this island is not developed too well? And remember lighthouses in World War II. As we went by, they kind of said this was the center for government for the island, like the mayor lived there, etc. Wow, this is a lighthouse they have out there, but this has all been rebuilt after World War II. You can get right up to the lantern room. Doesn't look like they got a light installed yet. You can see they built a whole complex of several buildings. It's more than just the one tower building. And when we're finished with this lighthouse, we take the bus back down to the boat across the area there to the mainland of Crete, and then we go back up the mountain, across, and back down the mountain to the hotel.